Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of our online TV personality platform, the Polity Roundtable. And on this edition today, I have with me a professor of pathology and forensic medicine, a very regular face in the field of medicine and a very important personality. He is no other person other than Professor Dayo Francis Faduyile, a prince of Ikale Kingdom of Ikoya. Doctor, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Sir, you are the president of the Nigerian Medical Association. How has it been so far managing the affairs of NMA nationally?
Well, I would say it's more of a mixed feeling. The first one is that I have been able to have exposure to a variety of issues that are beyond the normal patient-doctor relationship. I've been able to be exposed to administration and to see how we need to take care of human and material resources as well as funding. I have also been opportuned to meet with people in high places of power so that I can also influence in policy change of the Nigerian doctors on how to improve the health of Nigerians generally. However, there are the other side of the coin, which is, well, the challenging part. You have a lot of people who may not see your vision. You have a lot of people who will not know your direction, and some of them, while agreeing that you may have a different view, some of them actually throw spanner in the way because it's strange to them. And one of the major things that we did differently was our ability to change the tactics from being more of a reactionary or a combative association to being more of a discussionary or more of advocacy, so that we can have things change. And it's not so easy, but I can say that it has been a worthwhile experience, and I think things have gone pretty well in our last 20 months that we have been in helm of affairs.
Thank you very much, sir. I was almost coming to the issue of challenges your administration as the NMA president has faced, but you have looked into that. But beside that, would you want to tell us of other areas of challenges you think you have?
Well, there are so many challenges that if I start enumerating them, we may not be able to exhaust them in this program. But I can tell you, like the usual economics, who says human wants are unlimited, but resources are scarce. So there are so many things we planned to do, and we don't have enough funding. For example, in our interactions with government agencies, ministry, department, and agencies, there are some specific activity we plan to undertake, but we could not undertake them because we don't have the funding. One classical example is our ability to meet the state governors and discuss with them on how to ensure that we have their interests rekindled in terms of the national primary health care centers, which form the basis and bedrock of health system in any country. Conclusion that we will be able to meet them and discuss with them. Again, we have other challenges about our mode of interaction, which has largely changed from, it's a total departure from being more of a combative approach to more of a discussion and having more of interaction. And I can tell you, not many people saw that, but by and large we have been able to effectively make the necessary progress that we have made if we have gone through the other way. Convince people, and for them to be able to, convinced is a lot of challenge that we have undertaken.
Well, that's good to hear, sir. So do you see an end to brain drain in the medical profession? Because there has been a recurring indices in the medical profession. Do you see an end to it anytime soon?
Well, for brain drain, there is no country that can stop its national from traveling to go and apply their trade anywhere in the world. The only thing is that what is the quantum? What is the number of people living? So when we are talking about brain drain, we are talking about a large number, and there are so many things that are involved that are the cause or causes of that phenomena. We have the push and pull factors, and for the push factors, we have a lot of things pushing Nigerians out of this country, and they include the security, good way of life, road, electricity, and other things that will make you live comfortably. But importantly, in terms of health, we don't have enough spaces because the government, both the federal and state, are not employing the normal complement of staff, and we have very few people in places. And again, these very few people that are in places are overworked and are frustrated. Some of them are not paid appropriately and or as at when due. Some of them are being owed for upward of 6 months to 1 year. And again, what are the incentives that are there for them? Some of them don't have the equipment for them to be able to function effectively. So these are the things that are pushing people. And what are the pulling factors? The pulling factor are like the opposite of the pushing factor. In those countries that they are going, they have stability in economy, the security is fairly okay, and again, they respect and they know the worth of medical professionals. Whenever they get them in their areas, they pay them well, they give them loans, they give them things that will make them settle in the community very early. So until the government come forcefully to declare a state of emergency in health and make a categorical change from how things have been done, it might be difficult for us to say we are going to see an end in brain drain. In fact, the way it's going is getting worse, because if you see any young doctor or any young health professional, 80% of them are looking outside the shores of this country to go and display their profession. So government needs to put things in place and change from the normal process that we are in now.
Yes, sir. You mentioned about issue of insecurity as one of the reasons why young medical doctors might want to consider leaving the country. What's your take generally on insecurity in Nigeria? Because about a week ago, an NMA member, Professor Ilushiyan, Chairman Medical Advisory Committee, OAU, THC, was killed by unknown gunmen along Irekwe-Ekpoma Road. Do you think that the nation is seriously concerned about the security of medical professionals?
Well, I think it's not fair for us to say about medical professionals, because security cannot be targeted to a group of people. Security should be for everybody. It is when everybody is secure that you too, you know you'll be secured. However, government has largely failed in terms of security, because we hear a lot of assassination, we have a lot of death that the culprits are not brought to book. And one of the major deterrents for anybody who wants to work against the norm, against the law, is their ability to be caught. If they know they will be caught, the chances of them breaking the law will be lower. But in Nigeria, it looks as if everything goes. So we need a government that will take a cursory look on the security apparatus in the country and be able to stop forthwith the death of people, either doctors or any other member of the community. But for doctors especially, because of our duty, where we work 24 hours a day, you have emergency, you want to go and call the doctor will have to go in the middle of the night. Doctor will have to transverse back and forth to be able to treat people, especially the specialists. They are more prone to being attacked. And again, we have some erroneous belief that doctors are rich, and this is really unfortunate. If you see anyone and they say he's a doctor, it is assumed that he's very, very rich. Unfortunately, that is not the true sense of things. So these are the things that attract people, the miscreants, to look to the direction of the medical doctors and the other health professionals. But I must assure you that until the government or governments, the state and the federal government, as well as the local government, decided to take security headlong, it may be very difficult for us to be able to make a change in the polity in this country. So security issue is very germane, and it's one of the causes in which a lot of people are leaving the shores of this country. Professor Elushiyan was killed. If it were me that had gone for that medical examination, it's possible that it could be me. So it has a lot of resounding effect, a lot of vibrating effects that we need to put in check.
Well, a little bit away from that now. The budget for health in the 2020 appropriation bill, so to speak, do you think it is enough to cater for the health sector?
Certainly it is not. It is not. The Nigerian government and the state and the federal government are not interested in health. They say where your interest is, your heart is. The government, on their own, meeting with other African head of states in 2001, in Abuja, agreed that for effective, fairly efficient health system or sector, every member state should be able to budget at least 15% to health. And I can tell you, Nigeria government since 2001, now we are talking about 2020, that's 19 years, had never gone beyond 5% except 1 year. Every other year has been sub 5%. And that's the premium we have put on health. This 2020 budget is less than 5% also. So I cannot see what the government is doing to show that it's interested in terms of health. We have told the government as Nigerian Medical Association that we need to declare state of emergency, help the primary health, the private health institutions, which will form a bedrock of a sustainable health system. The government has shied away. Whereas when they wanted to declare state of emergency on agriculture, they have Bank of Agriculture. When they want to go into the industry, they have Bank of Industry. Okay, and we told them declare Bank of Health, so that we can have these private practitioners go and obtain single-digit loan, pay over some time, and they'll be able to establish. Most of these countries that we have medical tourism, they are going to private places. Okay, but Nigeria government has no plan to fortify health and to strengthen the health sector. We have told them that we need to strengthen the national health insurance scheme. The government is largely putting lip service to national health insurance scheme. What's of our states now that are putting on their state health insurance scheme, and all they are interested in is the political side. Okay, so we have we really need to sit down and decide that are we ready to take care of our health? And you remember, they always say health is wealth. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. And so you can see why Nigeria is not wealthy. Because we have failed to take care of our health. If you go to America, anything about campaign is on health.
Sure.
If you go to UK, anything they talk about their campaign is national health, the NHS. Health has no place, it has no role. And this is what we are talking about. The health of the people is paramount. Unfortunately, we have a government that has no interest and showed no interest, and they pretend as if they don't care about it. Go and look at all our primary health care centers. It is in shambles. Government are just not interested. Yet, people who supposed to rise up and demand that it is their legitimate right in the constitution of any country for them to have their health taken care of are also docile. We need to reawaken ourselves and make a change in terms of health in our country.
Thank you very much. We have a federal health minister and a state health minister who belong to the medical profession. Can we say that their impact in influencing government policies positively to favor the health sector is not really felt?
Well, you have stated something that is very correct. However, they say one adage, they say a tree does not make a forest. Even if they are doctors, it may be difficult for them to make the required change if their bosses are not looking at it that way. They may have pushed and they may not get it. Some of them may just not be interested, but we need to keep talking and moving things in that direction. I think we need people who can work closely with other people, with the whole health team, the whole cabinet, and make those changes. And that is one area that we want the health leaders in our different states and federal government to be able to do. That is to be able to interact. And for us to have a good health system, you need finances, you need funding, you need to talk with environment, because if the environment is dirty, you will not get good health. You need to talk about water, okay? So if the water is not there, you won't get good health. Agriculture, feeding, malnutrition, the health relationship, work and housing, the roads, if they are not on. All these things are totally interrelated. So we need a well-compact man who can interrelate with all this group of people for us to have a good change in terms of health sector.
Thank you very much, sir. The other time, about some few years ago, when Ebola crisis almost erupted in Nigeria, it took the effort of Dr. Adadevo and another nurse to, steep it in the bud. What has the NMA done so far to, keep the memory of Dr. Adadevo alive?
Well, we have had a series of lectures in her honor. The NMA has recognized her at our national annual delegate meeting. And every year we celebrate her and we show her prowess, her ability to display the highest sense of she actually physically restrained Mr. Sawyer at that time. Because if he has not done that and he's looking at Sawyer being a diplomat, Nigeria may not have come out of the Ebola crisis. But she sacrificed her life for that. And Nigeria Medical Association is always proud of her, and we will always continue to celebrate her.
That brings up the issue of the level of preparedness of this country for medical emergency. Do you think this country is prepared for medical emergency at any time?
You asked me about how is our health. I said we are not doing anything. Can we say we can have good medical emergency when we have not? It's a totality. The medical emergency is, I don't think we are, when we do not even look at the whole health sector, and yes,
envisage a medical emergency.
Well, we were really lucky when Sawyer came. There was a strike, and the public institutions were not working. That was what made the Sawyer went to a private place. If he has gone to a public place, it would have been disastrous, because before anybody sees Sawyer, he must have related with a lot of people. And every of those people who have gone to their houses, meet other people, it would have been a disaster. Okay? But I can tell you, there are policies that should be in place. And it is difficult for us to see this government enforcing any of that policy, because the rudimentary things itself are not even there. So it is, I can't say we have that.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. Away from health issues, sir, how will you assess government input and impact in your senatorial district, Ondo Southern Senatorial District?
Well, I think if we are talking about my senatorial district, I think likely we have been unlucky because we have had successive government in recent time not taking adequate interest in improving things at that place. We have been largely left on our own. Many of our roads are bad. We have not had any improvement in our health facility or health system. The main industries in our areas had been left to die. The OOPC is not there, the Olua Glass is not there. Many of those one close to us in Rowi and other things are not there, and there is no concerted effort by anybody to put those things in place. Economy has been down because in our senatorial district for over 8 years we don't have electricity, and you know that when you don't have electricity, a lot of things cannot work effectively. Those who are welders, those who depend on electricity to function, cannot function. We don't have the normal requisite of share of the national grid and interaction with the bigger world, because electricity is not in place. So it has largely been something that is very painful, that government looks as if they have forgotten us. Even agriculture, we're supposed to be moving way towards mechanized farming. There is nothing in place. So it seems to me that the government has certainly forgotten our senatorial district, and unfortunately we pray that we may be able to have a change of things in the senatorial district.
Finally, Dr. Faduyile, I have seen your billboard indicating your desire in the forthcoming Ondo gubernatorial race. Are you actually running for the governorship elections?
You say you have seen my billboard. It's presupposed that it was a thought-out decision before it came out.
Yeah, I think because I am sitting beside.
I think my people want to have a change. They desire a change. We need to have the change, and that is the change we are yearning for.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Well, viewers, I want to sincerely appreciate you for being with us in the past few minutes, hearing it all from the President, Nigerian Medical Association, on your program, our program, the Polity Roundtable. Thank you for viewing. I am Steve Oviri. Thank you.